So I'm walking down the street listening to Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy record, and this bloke walks up and's like, "Oi, that ain't music, that's just bloody noise." And I'm like, "Are you fucking mental, bruv? Right, it's not Simple Plan, but surely you've heard of punk rock before." And he's like, "Yeah, I listen to Nickelback." And I'm like, "Fucking hell, that's not punk rock." So I socked him in the jaw. And now I got the fucking bobbies on my back, and I'm like, "How the bloody hell did I get here, governor?" I don't know what to do, mate. Nickelback just ain't fucking music, bruv. He was asking for it.
What does he think this is, Vancouver? What a mental bloke. That's absolute bollocks. I would have socked him too, mate. I would have socked him too. You can't go walking around the streets of Winnipeg anymore with some classic 60s Canadian rock and roll.
Avril Lavigne ain't from the 60s, bruv.
Oh, my bad. The invasion of the early 2000s of classic God Save the Queen style Canadian rock and roll. Sticking it to the man, wearing ties when you had t-shirts on and whatnot. With this bruv talking rubbish, Nickelback can eat bollocks for all I'm concerned.
And that was our sister station, O Canada, broadcasting from Winnipeg. You can find them on Twitter at O Canada FM.
Yes, they bunch of lively chat show from up north.
They're a couple punk rockers, aren't they? Avril Lavigne, that record goes hard.
Yeah, you know, I've never really heard a Canadian, such an obviously Canadian person, discuss Avril Lavigne, Simple Plan, and Nickelback. Which, are they Canadian?
Yeah, all of them.
Oh, hey, he knows his stuff. I would expect nothing less than a Winnipeg record store debate. Riveting, to be sure. How are you, Tom?
Doing okay, Pat. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. Jesse's out of town this weekend, so I have the run of the apartment, and as long as I stay busy and don't allow myself to remember that I'm afraid of aliens and ghosts, I think I'll make it through. I think I'm going to survive, which is good.
Good to hear, yeah. Being alone sometimes. I was alone pretty late last night. I was in the basement doing some editing, lights out, totally pitch black basement. And I kind of forgot I was alone for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I heard this noise, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in an empty pitch black basement. What am I doing? I could be attacked at any moment." Yeah.
What am I doing? Enjoying my life or something? Start being worried again.
I'll tell you what, man. I haven't been in a multi-level living situation since I was living with me mums in high school, and there's something to it. Like, I feel like I'm definitely aware that I'm not aware of everything going on in my direct vicinity, you know? There's a whole floor unsupervised, and who knows what's going on up there. It's definitely made obvious when I'm alone. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird feeling when you, like, all of a sudden realize you're alone.
Yeah, I think
after... just me?
No, I think you fall into certain habits, and if I think it's the same it would be the same thing if you've lived alone for a while and you've started having a roommate, specifically a roommate who's your significant other. It would feel just as odd, I guess, to have a weekend of the stark difference, right? Like if you're used to living alone and you're like, "Oh, by the way, here's all your brothers and sisters under the same roof again." Be like, "Oh man." But no, I think it's all right to feel weird. How have you spent your time? You said you went down to the basement and got some work done.
Oh yeah,
what would be a weekend to yourself? Like you're like, "Ooh, I am gonna rip it up like I did in the old days." What was that for you then? And have you enjoyed any of those treats, such as a can of Red Bull, now that you have kind of free reign for a few days, like a limited time to go nuts for donuts?
Well, I definitely have the version of what I think I'm going to do when I have the place to myself and then what I actually do. And there's a stark contrast between the two. Megan, she's not out of town this weekend. She is working, doing some freelance photo stuff and all kinds of other stuff this weekend. So I will spend most of it alone. And in my head, I'm thinking I have a bunch of work training that I have to do. We're supposed to do that every week at our job, and I've let it go for about 6 months. So I've got quite a bit of that to do. I have about 5 podcasts to edit, and I'm thinking, man, I'm just going to get down in the basement. I'm going to crush it. You know, I'm looking at making a video game for this beard company I'm going to be launching, which we can talk more about later. And I'm just thinking, yeah, a little 8-bit side scroller thing just to get people to the website. I'm working on it. You know, I have all these grand ideas of all the productive things I'm going to do. And then I usually end up starting off pretty strong. I'll get one edit done, and then I'll go upstairs to take a break, and then I'll spend the next 48 hours watching reruns of New Girl, eating ice cream, thinking, damn, I got to do something other than this. And then I get stressed out thinking about the stuff I have to do, so then I eat more ice cream, and it just turns into a really vicious circle of me doing absolutely nothing and feeling guilty about it.
My weird first instinct is to, like, maybe I'll go out of town too. So I was like, I don't know why, but I just was looking at bus ticket prices to go to Chicago and maybe see Jake Gordon or go to Cleveland or go to Erie for no real reason. But my parents are in Philly visiting my brother this weekend. So I don't know why, but it's like, I don't want to be home alone. This is stupid and scary, quite frankly.
So you're not a fan?
I don't know, man. What am I supposed to do? I don't know. Go to a bar and, I don't know, drink here alone or drink at a bar or heaven forbid, like, invite a friend to hang out. I don't know.
Oh, that's stressful, man.
No, it's not that stressful. I could have hung with friends. My friend Nick from college has a new house that I could have gone to see.
Hey, in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was cool because he, like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, had just lost his job and was single and was living with his parents and kind of driving a taxi or like an Uber type service part-time. And those 14 months or whatever, 16 months have gone by, and he has a house, he's engaged, and he has a really good job as a communications person at a local, I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to say, but either way, it was like the craziest calendar year 180 I've ever seen. And
Right.
I just couldn't be more thrilled for him. He just, because,
right.
you know, just when you were about to give up hope type thing, it was like, meet a nice girl, get a job, and it's good. It's just good vibes. Anyway, I did not go congratulate him on that at all. I am here, still in my pajamas, talking to you through the computer. Technology's great.
Yeah, you said he just woke up and it's like 3 in the afternoon.
It was like 1 when I got up. I do work nights, so my sleep
that's
schedule's
true.
pretty
Okay.
sour.
Okay.
But I still feel bad about waking up in the afternoon just because I guess there's a stigma. But it is also how my sleep schedule is. I did stay up late. I got a little 6-pack of beer.
Oh.
Yeah, and drank it. No,
little microbrewery.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And I was gonna be like, haha, joke, but it was actually from a local brewery. Yeah, I stayed up till like 5:30 a.m. listening to every podcast I could find about the Browns' recent draft. And I was like, just go to bed, man. And I was like, no, but I want to start watching highlights from the quarterback they just took to find out if my totally uneducated guess can find out if he's going to be good or not. You know, it's like, turn it in, man. There's a whole day tomorrow to do. And yeah, it was embarrassing. But yeah, probably going to try to get some stuff done around the house. And I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird feeling. I almost pulled the trigger on going to Chicago on a bus, but then I don't know, it just seems stressful.
How long of a ride is that?
It's like 6 hours, and it's a megabus, not Greyhound, which is great because Greyhound
stops every 20 seconds.
You're willfully rubbing other people's on your clothes, which is not great.
Well,
it's weird to like pay to do that. Usually, it's just like an unfortunate accident. I say usually like it's something that you have to deal with monthly, but that's not the case for anyone.
I told a story about that awful Greyhound bus trip that I took. And I think I just saw on Time Hop that was like 8 years ago today, which is funny. Horrible.
What was the story? Have you told it on the show?
Yeah, I remember the episode title. It was like Guy on Bus Won't Stop Staring or something. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Crazy. So yeah, no go on the Greyhound bus. Megabus used to be like $4 a round trip from DC to Erie. And then once it caught on, then they started charging like $50. So,
well, I think it was like if you did it months in advance, you could buy the first seat was $1, the second seat was $2, the third or something like that.
Right.
But that went out of business, or at least certain routes stopped.
Right.
Because they were everywhere for a little while in like 2011.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Well, Chicago, yeah, I guess you don't have any pets or anything to really have to worry about. Because I sometimes get that feeling too, like, man, I should just kind of go somewhere else. I don't want to be alone.
I get that itch every so often on a Friday, like, man, I should go on an adventure. But yeah, I don't know.
So you and Jessie work very similar work schedules. So anytime you're at work, she is as well. And
Yeah.
you're usually home around the same time all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
we're pretty in sync.
Right. Megan and I have not opposites, but our schedules don't line up that perfectly. So I'm used to being home alone for hours every day. So maybe I'm less affected by the lonesome weekend than you are, perhaps.
Well, I think what got to me was like, you're going to have a little bit of freedom. Ow. Sorry. I sat weird on my knee. I'm getting old and it's sad. I was like fear of ripping a tendon off my joint. God damn it. Oh man, that's sad. Anyway, it really hurt. I am in pain, but we must carry on. Having a little bit of freedom and then like not really knowing what to do with it because you're kind of in a, sorry, my knee is, that was very scary.
It's that bad.
No, maybe. I don't know. It's all show business, baby. It's smoke and mirrors. I don't even have knees.
Even penguins have knees, dude. Come on.
That's right. Well, duh. Which is the the point I'm glad we reached after my non-injury. Penguins, in fact, have knees. Do you want to do? I guess. What have we learned here, Tom?
That we're both sad when we're.
No,
when
I
we're
think
on-
I like the routine. And
Right.
I guess are we admitting we're older by not doing anything like out of the blue? But it's like I don't know. Buses are dumb and whatever. I guess the question would be like, is it sad to be like? I guess I'll just hang out. I don't know. Read a book or something because that's also valuable time to like
yeah.
catch up on some phone calls to your parents and stuff. And
Well, that actually was a thought of mine. I'm in the middle of like 6 books right now, at least 5 or 6. And I thought if I can get a bunch of editing done, I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to like put the hammock up in the yard and just read for as long as I possibly can.
that sounds like a lovely time.
I think it's awesome. Just like when we talked about my birthday, it was just so mellow. And I am learning to appreciate that more and more every day. But also there's always a little sense of guilt for not being more adventurous. But like even when I was single and I would not have work or school the next day, in my head I'm like, yo, I'm gonna fucking rage tonight. And I
Yeah.
would just like rent a movie from Redbox and order a pizza and drink a whole 2-liter Mountain Dew and be like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm ripping it up right now. Like,
Ripping. Rage. Rage. Yeah, it's weird how much more planning goes into, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the scales were smaller when we were in high school, but it's like, it felt more spontaneous to just whoever had a car that evening to drive to that haunted bridge in Girard or something, like on a summer evening, like,
yeah.
no rules, but it's like, you were going not that far away, like you're still staying in the county, and
Right.
but now it's like, man, I didn't go to Chicago. I'm so lame. And you like get a lot of productive stuff done. Like, man, I'm getting too old for this. You like read a book and like learn something valuable to like ponder and like maybe you get a workout in or something. But like, what's lame? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's maybe the scales are different. It's like, oh man, I can't Instagram anything good today unless I make delicious looking pancakes. You know what? Actually, I
Blueberry
might
pancakes,
just
Pat?
get it
Are
in.
you sure?
That's right, dude. Oh my god, my mom. We talked about it last week, but that was just, oh man.
A few weeks ago.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, life's not worth living. I would be cool with dying immediately, always. Like that's one of those memories that's just like, oh man, being alive is the worst. It's like one of those just chilling, haunting memories of just like, Mom, how dare you? Like, I want to eat the blueberries. Like, I don't know. And so my teen self was just, I guess I leave the restaurant now. Like, I don't know what my end game was. It was like, I got outside the restaurant and it was like, I guess I could walk this 40 miles back to Erie or just sit in the car. I'll just sit in the car because I do want to still make my point. There's no going back there. There's absolutely no going back there. And man, yeah.
Oh
that
my
and
God.
like in first grade, I was trying to sing to a girl I liked while we were
Whoa.
during reading time.
Oh wow.
And
ballsy.
yeah, and the teacher was like, And I was like, I looked up and everyone was looking at me like I was, like in a classroom setting when you're the last person to get the memo that we're being quiet now.
Oh,
and
right.
Everyone gets to hear, and it was me like singing. I was like, you remember that song? And oh God, that is like, kill me now. Like that, the blueberry thing. There's a handful of other things, but man, that first grade one, oof, that bites. That is just still with me. Pretty rough, especially because everyone that was there that day remembers it too and judges me for it. That doesn't help. So I think that's what really gets me is they always text and call about it and like, Pat, remember this and feel things about it because it was a big part of our lives too. And I'm like, hey, noted. Brandon Ciliano, great point. How's it going? Glad to see you're still hanging in there or whatever. Remember that time I tried to flush an eraser down the toilet and you told on me and I got in trouble? That was super chill. And it didn't, by the way. It just like wasn't small enough. It just came back up. It was like not an issue, but I got like a timeout for it. I was like, "Fuck you, man! Like we had a bond, you son of a bitch! Like we were brothers." Like it wasn't even my eraser. You coward! You fucking coward! I'm walking over to the timeout corner, just like fuming, like, "Oh, I'm coming for you with everything I got. I will not rest."
You were Batman as a prepubescent child. I don't know. Damn it!
I'm just gonna send a message.
Oh God.
Anyway, so that haunts me too. See what happens when you're left in an apartment for a few days. I think that's why distance with Jesse was so rough because it was that for months. Like I almost actually lost it. Like I was watching, I think I got a red box of some really comedy with Daryl from The Office. And it was like Doomsday. He played the devil or something. And Anna Kendrick was in it as like the protagonist girl. But those were like the only 2 stars. I think the third star was the Reno 911 cop guy, Dangle.
Right.
I forget his name. But I was watching the DVD extras just because I had nothing to do. Because I was broke as my car was broken down, and any money I was getting, I was using towards flights to see Jesse, which was part of the plan, and that's fine. But it left a lot of like, and I was still new, and like there were some people I knew from college in Cleveland. That didn't mean I like had a full social schedule of just like I live here now and life is great. Like you still go through the growing pangs of
right.
being in a new city. Anyway, the Dangle dude in the DVD extras looks into the camera like at me. I feel at this moment it's just like, go outside. Just like, what the you know what this movie is. You know how much the budget was for this movie. Why are you even recording, camera person? Like you, watching. Stop it. Stop doing this. Go anywhere. Like, you. You're wasting your day. This is a bad decision. And he just went off for like, it was like a 3-minute tirade. And it was so timely. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go outside. I should leave this room for the first time in 3 days. That'd probably be pretty chill. But go stock up on spaghetti and peanut butter and jelly. But yeah, man. So companionship is dope, basically. No. The message there is probably stop moving to new cities because you have to start over and
yeah.
and all that. Do you think you're done moving?
No.
Yeah.
I really want to live in San Diego and Japan before I die.
Why San Diego?
I feel like that might be where I want to end up.
You talk about California a lot. I could see that. And isn't that where Blink-182 got its start?
Yeah, like a suburb outside of there.
Well, then you should go there.
So there's like a big entrepreneur community. I'm sick of the snow. It snows just at random in Denver. It'll be 80 and then snow and then be 80 the next day. And I just never want to see snow again.
Why?
Because I fucking hate it. Well, especially because like right now, if it snows, it costs me like $200 because I can't work, you know?
Oh, well, there you go.
That drives me crazy. I'm not always going to have a job dependent on snow, but I hate it.
I'm thinking, Jesse talks sometimes about like if we were to ever move towards her home for a little while. And it's weird how guilty I feel for not wanting to really.
Sure.
And she sees right through me saying, yeah, of course. But I think I'm
right.
I think I'm leaning towards like, well, since he was never a place I wanted to be, it's been very good to me so far. I have no reason to knock it in any real way, I guess, because I came here on a whim and was able to get a job right away and everything's been good. So I got no qualms, but going there would be no really different than, it's like, where do you want to go? I don't know. It's like, how about this place? No. It's kind of like, where do you want to eat? I don't know. How about this burger place? I don't want burgers. It's like, you.
Right.
So
right.
I'm being a child probably would be the best way to say it.
Well, you're talking about like the border of Kansas and Oklahoma or something, right? Or Arkansas?
The border of, the northwest border of Arkansas into Oklahoma, which is kind of an old west vibe as opposed to deep, deep south vibe. If you drove east or south at all, you would either hit some Ozark stuff or go down into the south for sure. And if you drove west, it would be flat Bible Belt stuff. It's kind of an interesting area, actually.
That sounds horrible to me, Pat. Like,
yeah, but I mean, there are some pretty racist people everywhere, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, not even just that. Of course, you're going to have that more than other places, but damn, dude, Oklahoma, like, I'm sure there's some cool spots in Oklahoma, but that is just vastly different from even Cincinnati, Ohio, and I don't think that you should weigh them equally. That's all I'm saying.
I would say, because of where Jesse's from and what is near her old life and family and stuff, I would value Tulsa more than I would value Cincinnati. There's no reason for me, if I'm going to be in Ohio, to be 3 extra hours further from my parents and not be in Cleveland. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
We ended up here because we wanted to be together somewhere.
Right.
And I've talked about it on this show at length, ad nauseum. So to me, Tulsa's a nice mid-sized city. It's just a city in America. I mean, you're going to have certain people on this and that. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about that lately. If the next move might be there, just to, I don't know. Neither of us want to go to New York or LA. We don't want to go to Austin or Portland because, whatever. Who cares? And we're not that active on social media, and taking that many pictures of donuts seems exhausting. I've heard some good things about Tulsa. Fort Smith might be a different story, but again, it's like when you become this unit, and again, we've talked about this the past couple of episodes as we both inched near our weddings this year. What should the mindset be other than trying to make your partner's life better, right? And if neither of us know, and there's some business to take care of down there, at least within the window of the next 5 years, why wouldn't we? Especially when I don't have a better answer for the situation. Right. And who am I to say? I've never lived there. And I've seen how ugly certain, like if you go to Boston, I saw a dude from Southie push a girl into a turnstile before a Celtics game once. Just like pushed a woman into a piece of metal. Like I was like, oh God. It's like people go to East Coast and then Harvard. It's like there's still trashy people everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Right. Especially in Erie and Cleveland and Detroit and Buffalo. And there's a lot of good people there too. And, there's like the Yinzer culture in Pittsburgh and, whatever you want to say, right? And maybe cut that last part out. I don't want to talk shit on the whole city of Pittsburgh, but I guess I'm talking shit on everybody, right? Like I guess I'm trying to talk myself into being open-minded about going to a city I know so little about, right?
Right.
Other than generic what TV shows seem to say about broad whole regions of the middle of in between each mountain chain, right? In America. Right. Like no one really.
Well, Megan, when we talk about places we want to go, I feel like sometimes she just brings cities up at random. She spent some time in Asheville like 10 years ago and loved it. And then
it seems like a great vacation destination.
Right. And then she went for like a weekend 2 years ago and she was like, man, Asheville changed. I didn't really like the vibe. And then she's just like, what if we moved to Asheville? I'm like, what happened to the last time you were there, Mm-hmm. And then I see this article that says Asheville has the lowest median income in the entire country at like $28,000 a year. And I remember when we were looking for places to move and we ended up settling on Denver, we looked into Asheville. There wasn't like a single job in that entire city. And she kept being like, well, why not give it a closer look? I was like, there's no work. Like, you know, come on.
Well, it's like we always say, would you ever move back to Erie? But it's like, and do what?
No, exactly. So she keeps bringing up Asheville. I'm like, everything's stacked up against it. Why are we still talking about Asheville?
My college town, Athens, Ohio, where OU is, Ohio U, the campus is vibrant and the county goes blue in most elections. And that's kind of the vibe, like this liberal utopia in the middle of generally red things. It's near West Virginia and stuff like that. And it's pretty vibrant, brick streets on the campus. But if you drove 10 miles in any direction, it's a much different story. I imagine Asheville would be similar, where, you're putting craft beers into mugs or whatever. You're just putting things in mugs for a certain amount of blocks, but then 10 miles in any direction. I mean, what states is that again? Is it
North Carolina
North
is
Carolina?
beautiful, but...
Oh, sure. Rolling Hills, that's great.
But then
I
Asheville,
imagine
there's
it's part of
nothing.
Appalachia. It's my wild guess that it's not the most thriving area just once you get out of town. I could be wrong.
It's like a total oasis for hippies who can make $100 a month selling shit on Etsy and still survive off of like their parents'
So there's
money,
it's not like Austin where there's a major tech scene emerging in this cool place.
No. And from what I understand, it's just like, I mean, and again, I've never been. I have some people I went to college with who live there who are enjoying it, but they are the hippie type who are like, yeah, I only need money just to pay bills and the rest is like whatever, man. Whereas like, I want to make $10 million a year, like it's just not the place for my goals and for the way I'm trying to align my life. And I don't think it really is for Megan either. It just confuses me. To me, like I try to think of cities practically,
right?
Which when you try to do that, you can rule out any city for any reason,
Well, thankfully for you, you didn't overthink. Well, you can.
I didn't think about Denver
any
at
type
all.
of way, but you didn't. Yeah, you didn't think about Denver at all. Like you took pride in how random that decision was. Actually, right? Or else you wouldn't have gone probably. But you needed to get out of DC for a little while. That you had been there for a while.
Well, yeah, and we were living with Megan's parents for like 2 years.
Would you ever go back to the DC area?
No, absolutely
hard
not.
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Hard no.
It seems like that town's a young man's game. Not that we're not young men still, but
I'm 27 now, Pat. We both are. It's
over. It's over for us.
Yeah, we're a middleman's game.
We're a middle. Is that what phrase is that? Oh, we're a middleman's game. Wait, are we middlemen or are we
men in the middle?
Right, and there's some sort of game.
Anyways, but if I had to choose between DC or going back to Erie, I'd think about it for a second, but DC for sure.
Oh, okay. See, I would have no problem going back to Erie. I don't think. If the job was right.
Sure.
I don't know. What's wrong with believing in where you're from and trying to make it better? We can sit here and list all the faults, but I would have absolutely no problem. Erie was I think it's a great place to live and grow up. And it's near 3 major cities where when you're growing up, you can go see shows and concerts and visit places and you can get to Canada quick and Niagara Falls. And it's beautiful in the summer. It's obviously the winters are very long, but there's something I think to be said for giving back to the hood instead of taking away. You'll allow me to channel T.I. for a minute. No, just kidding. But not really. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. I guess to bring it around, I am more and more like, who am I to say no if Tulsa would come into play and we wanted to go, if something came up and we had to go do some stuff on her family side of things. And, who am I to say no, right? I mean, it wouldn't have to be permanent necessarily. And why not, I guess? Like,
yeah.
What am I just going to move to Cleveland as soon as possible and then just die there 60 years later? I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's a lie we tell ourselves, but is it go to the island? Like we say, that dude with the douchey Facebook videos. It's like,
right.
You could easily argue that would be part of an adventure, some larger adventure, like why be in such a hurry to go somewhere familiar, I guess. And this is me just slowly in real time to you talking myself into something that I've been very hesitant about. But I think that's on the table. I think it's on the horizon. We haven't really talked about it. She knows I have in the past just been like, yeah, we can do anything, like
right,
if it's best for us, which it would be and could be. I hope now that I'm talking myself into it, I hope to relay that with sincerity in the near future that, yeah, of course, why not? Why not?
Well, let me ask you, Pat, how do you feel about jazz?
How do I feel about jazz?
Yes.
I love it.
Well, lucky for you, the Union Station in Tulsa is home to the Jazz Hall of Fame. Let me ask you another thing. How do you feel about folk legend Woody Guthrie?
I know that Hannah's dog was named after him.
Oh, my God. That's my first love that Pat is referring to.
Yes, the dog.
We both had some mutual feelings about her, I think, right?
She was cute. Hannah's great. Yeah, I wish Hannah the best in all of her endeavors. She's a sweetheart.
So the Woody Guthrie Center is a must when in Tulsa.
Look at the skyline. Google image it for me. How do you feel? I want you to talk through seeing things about Tulsa for the first time.
I'll get to that, I have one more question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about the 1921 race riot?
Ooh, how do you feel about the early 2000s race riot in Cincinnati?
I haven't heard.
Yes, it was very ugly, and it was very real, and there's a lot of hate in the history of many American cities. So it's especially Erie, like you said. It's very tough for people who aren't white in Erie. Like it got voted like the worst for non-Caucasians in Erie, which is a huge problem.
So I'm just going through the crazytourist.com, the 25 best things to do in Tulsa. I don't know how learning about the 1921 race riots made it to number 3, but let me see.
That's an important thing to know. If you don't know your history,
I'm sure.
I wouldn't
say that's fun, but
necessary.
All right, so the Skyline, I see one big building.
Cool.
About 5 medium-sized buildings, and that's it.
Okay.
Not
I'm
much
down with that.
to show.
Pretty Erie-like, it sounds like.
Well, I think the tallest building in Erie is the Boston store at 18 stories. This looks like at least 30, so,
Okay, so bigger. Legitimately bigger city than Erie.
Right. Yeah, in order to make the Skyline look big, you have to get it from a certain angle and crop out everything else, but it's a city. I mean, let's look at the population of Tulsa. This is turning into a different thing here. Just over 400,000 in 2016.
Wow, it's a big town.
Not really. I mean, so to put it in perspective, Erie's 120,000, Denver's 3 million. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I feel like you're clowning me. Like, that's a pretty big town. And you're like, not really. Fuck you. That seems like a sizable town. No, that claim is false. It's like, okay, let's pump the brakes for a minute. It is, can I say, a population center in this country? Like, is that too bold of a claim?
Well, let's see how it ranks in total population. Let's see. What would you guess? All the cities in the country, what would you guess?
I would guess it would be TV market like 65.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Tulsa, 2014, it was just under 400,000, 46th in the U.S.
Ooh, okay.
Second in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma City is the big game in town there, to be sure.
Okay. Well, dude, we should, how far away is that from each of us? We should just go to Tulsa for a weekend.
Yeah, why not?
Next time Jessie's out of town, we'll go hang out in her hometown without
That's
her.
What we should do. Yes. Yes. Yeah. She'll be like, damn it. Because she's been really wanting to show me around Tulsa for a while. Because I've seen Fort Smith, because that is very near. She grew up on the border, on the eastern border of Oklahoma.
And that's where you're getting married, right?
Yeah. Okay. It was like, and I've said this, it's like growing up in Lawrence Park, but Erie was the biggest city.
Right.
Like, but her Lawrence Park just happened to be across the border into Oklahoma.
Okay, gotcha.
So you drive like 5 minutes and you're in downtown Fort Smith, which is, they have a lot of murals, a lot of brewery stuff like every town, but they took care of their local parks, and there's like a little rail thing that goes along the river there. It's actually a kitschy little stretch. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts when you visit for the wedding.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, man.
But that was her life growing up, pretty much. But it's weird because all the high schools in that area, they never played in high school. So like, there are some big high schools that probably would have had sports rivalries with each other, but they're Arkansas schools. And then there's a lot of smaller districts in Oklahoma because there's no big population centers like more out where she was. And it's interesting. I was like, did you guys ever play each other? When I pass certain things, it's like, no, they're across state lines, which it would be kind of a strange thing, I think. But that's not an interesting or important part of what we're talking about. So I will end it there. But yeah, we'll see. I think there's a lot to consider. Would you like to do a mailbag and move this thing along?
Yeah, let's do it.
What have we learned?
We learned that being home alone can be fun, but it's usually just a little sad.
Yeah.
Tulsa isn't a tiny town as I tried to represent it as. My apologies to Tulsa.
You son of a... Yeah, that's right. You apologize to the good people of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
We learned that Asheville sucks, right? Kind of. For anyone who has ambitions, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Mason jars are great.
No, I'm sure it is great. Just not right for me.
Beautiful country, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and we learned that Avril Lavigne is some motherfucking punk rock.
That's right. And if anybody who says otherwise, they're gonna get the bullocks knocked out of them.
I don't know if that's a phrase, but yeah, let's go on a mailbag.
It's a Canadian phrase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mailbag. Okay. Are you ready?
Ready.
Are you ready, Freddie?
I am ready like spaghetti.
Okay. Well,
when it sticks to the fridge, and that's how you know.
Ooh, I would always throw it at the wall. I guess fridge would be easier to wipe.
Right, yeah.
which is actually the topic of our first question from a man named Freddie. He lives in Spokane, and he has said, do you prefer pasta that cooked a little too long or a little too much, or do you still do the throw it at the wall or fridge trick, or what's your deal with pasta? Is it 7 to 10 minutes? What's the deal? Because somehow I keep screwing this up.
First of all, al dente can go f*** itself. I'm going to get that out of the way.
Could you expand for the audience that does not know what that word is? I totally do, but I just want to make sure Matt and Julie and the gang are keeping up.
It's slightly undercooked, but tastefully so, in some people's opinions. Some people's very wrong opinions.
Whoa. Wrong, but like R-A-W?
Like wrong. I have a tendency to overcook pasta only because I totally forget about it until it's like all the water's boiled off and it's just like soggy pasta burning in a pot. Like that's kind of usually how I'm eating pasta.
The internet,
which is
I think
gross.
I got from the internet that you bring it to a boil and then put the noodles in for 7 minutes.
I mean, that depends on so many things, right? I mean, do you boil pasta on a high setting? I tend to cook everything on high. I don't have patience for 7 or
you and Jesse are the same. I'm like
6.
She'll be like, hey, can you wash the eggs? Or something. We're getting ready in the morning. And I'll go in and it's just like blazing and the eggs are crisp. I'm like, how could you live like this? You know what I mean?
That's me, dude. Get in and get out. I hate cooking. It's so dumb.
I like it. Brown it a little bit on each side. I don't know. I enjoy it. I do.
So what was the question, Freddie?
Oh, yeah. Freddie from Spokane is asking, I just need some quick tips. I need to make spaghetti. I'm learning. He's a young bachelor. It sounds like he needs a little bit of help, a little direction. He'll move on to making his own soups and stews soon, I'm sure, because that's the logical progression, as everybody knows. But yeah, just a quick noodle tip from my buddy Tom.
Quick noodle tip. I burn it, or not burn it, boil it.
Okay, step 1, crisp everything, and then go out to eat.
I boil it. I'll throw it in. I'll usually put it down to a 7 and put the wooden spoon on top because it's had a tendency to boil over. Some people tell you not to, but I give it a quick stir right out of the gate so it doesn't stick together. And then whenever I remember that I'm boiling noodles, I'll go over. I'll try to take one out. I'm a big fan of elbow macaroni. So I'll take one out, throw it in the strainer, which is waiting in the sink, put some cool water under it so I don't burn my little lippies, and I'll throw it in my mouth, see how it tastes, make sure it's not al dente. And when you don't have that little bit of crunch or the hardness, undercooked values to the pasta, I'll dump it all in that strainer. And yeah.
Do you heat the sauce, or you let the sauce heat up and also cool down the noodles?
I usually just put a bunch of butter in it and maybe some Parmesan. I'm not a red sauce kind of guy.
Oh, you know what we did? We zoodled the other day.
What?
Jesse got a zoodler.
What the f*** is a zoodler?
Well, I'll tell you. You basically turn zucchinis into noodles.
Oh, damn.
And,
that's awesome.
It is. And we made little garlic Parmesan buttered noodle pasta or zoodle pasta. It was.
Wait, did you make a sauce?
No, but I did put Parmesan and butter and cut up some garlic cloves and put it in. So does that count? I don't know.
Because that's still a New Year's resolution.
I haven't made a sauce because I have the rest of the calendar year to make a sauce, Tom. Let's just relax for a damn minute. Freddie, I'm sorry you had to hear this. No, but we zoodled and it was good, dude. It was hardcore. It was trill, if I might be so bold.
Well, dude, we have 7 zucchinis sprouting that we're about to put in our raised garden beds in a couple weeks here.
That, brother.
I'm gonna deep fry it.
Wow. You're wild. You're a wild boy. How's it feel to live in that world as a wild boy?
Ready to zoodle.
You're Tokyo drifting in the kitchen.
There you go.
Yes. So there you go, Fred.
If you can make sense of any of that.
Any advice for your pasta making from that. And good luck. And PBJs are always a good backup.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay, here's one from Megan. Hello. I am developing a belief in karma, and that karma is real, but I'm not sure how to... I live in fear that I am not doing enough to tip the scale in my favor. What have I done to deserve this type vibe? Like, because she says things are going pretty well. And she's saying she occasionally donates some money to her local Red Cross, but she doesn't volunteer and she doesn't give that much, but she doesn't have that much to give, but it's not like she's hurting. And it sounds like she's caught up in how much is too much or too little. And she doesn't want karma to get her back, even though she hasn't done anything notably egregious, it doesn't sound like. So,
well, I mean, I think first of all, karma is bullshit bad things don't happen to bad people, and they usually happen to good people, and bad people get away with stuff all the time. So I don't believe in karma. I would encourage you to probably do the same, but just keep doing what you feel is right. And if you don't know what's right, I don't know what to tell you. I think that giving money can be okay. I don't think it's necessary. I'm interested in why Red Cross, why you feel encouraged to give to them. I don't know. I have no clue, because I feel like I haven't been putting too much into that karma scale as you think that you need to be, and everything's going fine for me. So just keep living the best life you know how.
Hashtag deep.
Is it, or is that like super white privilege to sound like that? Just keep doing your thing, man. It's fine.
I don't know. Well, we talk about this all the time, is making one person's life near you better enough, is making your focusing on your own community enough.
Yeah.
And how much is enough to make you feel at peace with the things you are in a position to enjoy. And if you have certain comforts that others do not, it's hard not to feel guilt, I suppose. So yeah, keep being the best you can be, Megan. Good luck to the city of Pueblo, Colorado. I hear it's the new Aspen.
I heard it's beautiful.
Yes. Aspen is a little overplayed nowadays, don't you think?
Where the beer flows like wine, and the women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano.
Nice. I believe that was word for word. That was good. I think Jim Carey was on Jeff Daniels' Conan visit the other day. And how do you feel about Jim Carey? Well, this is actually a letter from wait, no, I can't read that right. Cameron? Is it Cameron? Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Wait, no, this is a question from me. Sorry, I forgot this letter. How do you feel about, I don't want to get to that yet. We'll get to Cameron's letter in a minute. I'm curious how you feel about Jim Carey's art that he's been tweeting out.
I haven't seen too much. I know that it's trolling the administration.
Yeah, it's kind of sexual. I think it's with markers, and it's oddly good. But it's also kind of disturbing.
Killer. I mean, I saw his Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and I love his artwork. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. He's such a creative outburst in many forms.
I heard someone being like, oh, it's just another washed up comedian trying to stay relevant. And it was like, dude, he respectfully bowed out of his career and retired. I don't think he washed up, so to speak, and he's pursuing a new creative outlet. I don't think there's anything not noteworthy about that. I don't know. I think it's awesome. I think that he's using his platform, in my opinion, well. Others would disagree. I think it's dope. I think it's cool as hell.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with creative expression, except I'm sure there's some specific examples of when that went south. So I don't want to say anything too definitive. Within reason, I guess, like all things. Anyway, this one's from Cameron. How often do you clip your nails, Tom? And do you have any of them left over? That's from Cameron in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Well, Cameron, this is a point of contention between me and Megan. She says, it's such a guy thing that I cut my nails over the toilet so that I don't have to clean them up. I'll put a little piece of toilet paper down, set my foot on it, and clip them over that. And I usually have pretty sweaty, clammy hands, and I'm just praying to the void that I don't drop the clippers into the toilet. I have to be very careful about that. I don't clip them enough. I just did the other day, and they're looking good. Megan, actually, maybe we can auction these nails off. Megan is having kind of this nail party thing with this nail artist, kind of like her bridal shower thing. And she wanted to go scope it out today. So we might be going to a creative nail salon. Maybe I'll get mine done up. And when they're ready to cut, I can auction them off for the Red Cross charity that our earlier writer mentioned. And we can get a whole... Yeah. We can get a whole operation going. I'll auction my fingernails off for charity. And
Cameron gets your fingernails. Megan gets a few extra dollars to kick towards the charity of her choice.
Yeah.
And you lose something you would have grown and tossed away anyway. So
right.
That's a nice little ecosystem we've created there, which is good. Also, Cameron, seek help. That's you should be asking people for their fingernails.
Yep.
A lot of, that's a bit of a trend. People, there's always someone who wants a little piece of Tom Kelly.
Always, everywhere I go, Pat.
Well, hey, that's the life of a sexy beast. You are all that is man, and I'm willing to admit that.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of that. Yeah.
I'm a fan of yours too.
Oh, stop it. I think we could put a bow on this one. I think that was a good mailbag session.
Yeah.
For the record, you probably were not going to Yeah, don't tweet at us, Cameron. Everyone else should, but we don't want your info. We're not going to send you Tom's fingernail clippings. So, yeah, I think that's it. That's probably it for this week.
You want to give a quick song of the week first for the people?
I'm going to do a book of the week.
Okay.
And I think John Hodgeman, the former Daily Show correspondent, wrote a book called Vacationland. And I like it.
Awesome. I was watching the new season that dropped on Netflix of New Girl, and there was kind of a folky singer-songwriter-y type song at the end. I Googled it because I really liked it. And it was called Small Infinity by an artist called Whim. And it was nice. A little different. Might be more of your speed, Pat.
Ooh.
It was nice, yeah.
Well, maybe I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, cool. That's it.
Or maybe I won't.
Well, f*** you then.
Or maybe I will.
You're free to do as you please.
I guess we are. It's a free country. Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
And now it's not a bow. Now we're putting it out of his misery. It got away from us fast. Goodbye, everybody. Sorry for everything.
Bye.